dreams deep inside. Every time I see you, I can feel the pain. They can say not good enough, I'm not that one for you. We belong together. They can tell you anything to push you away from me. My heart belongs to you. You must be a hero. Your resonance and by the gods. And every time I'm with you, love and fantasy. I want to share with you till the end of my life. They can say not good enough, I'm not that one for you. We belong together. They can tell you anything to push you away from me. My heart belongs to you. You must be a hero. You must be a Superman. 'Cause every time I see you, I can feel the pain. You must be a hero. You must be a Superman. 'Cause every time I see you, I can feel the rain. You must be a hero. You must be that kind of man who can make me realize my dreams deep inside. And every time I see you, I can feel the pain. They can say not good enough, I'm not that one for you. We belong together. They can tell you anything to push you away from me. My heart belongs to you. You must be a hero. Your resonance and by the gods. And every time I'm with you, love and fantasy. I want to share with you till the end of my life. They can say not good enough, I'm not that one for you. We belong together. They can tell you anything to push you away from me. My heart belongs to you. You must be a hero. You must be a Superman. 'Cause every time I see you, I can feel the pain.
Oh my goodness. Peace and greetings, soul family. Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone on in. How are we all doing? How are we all feeling? Happy Solstice. Wow. Happy Solstice, everyone. How are we all doing? How are we all feeling? Welcome on in. It's Friday. It's Friday. It is the solstice. And yes, we have a very special guest that's going to be joining us here soon, having a little bit of solstice technical difficulties. Give me one moment. Hello? Okay, soul family. So I just got off the phone with Black Dot. Listen, I need some help really quick because we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Let me see if I can get someone who will come on camera really quick for me. I want to send you the link so we can try to work some of the kinks out. But we know this is going to be, listen, this is going to be a powerful share. And I don't want to get into too much of it, but let me know if I can get somebody really quick, Goddess Rainwater, maybe some of the moderators or someone in the building who would not mind being on camera really quick while we work this out really, really quick. And I will talk about the name of the song. It's called Hero, and I will give you the artist name in a minute, but it is so fitting, just so divinely fitting. So I know you guys are a little behind, so I need someone who's willing to be able to come on because I need to see something behind the scenes. So I need someone. It's not for the sound. I need someone to physically come on camera. Okay, Lola, you're driving. It's okay, love. Please, I know you're moderating the room, but let me know. Come on, where my OGs at? Somebody? Anybody? Did I miss it? Did I miss who wants to come on camera? we don't want to do it. Okay. All right. Roz, do me a favor. Hit me here. Anybody. This is the email address I need you to hit me at. Right here. Whoever's, if I miss somebody, here is the email address, and whoever gets there, that's what we're going to do. Okay. There we go. There's the email address. Okay, 7 grams. Come on, 7 grams. Hit that email. Send me an email really quick. And yeah, hit the email really quick. Just send me an email and I will send you the link. I will send you the link. But meanwhile, welcome on in. I just spoke to Brother Black Dot. He is excited and he is ready to come on and share. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and hit that like button so we can go ahead and let everyone know that we are live. And we are live. Happy Solstice. Happy Born Day to everyone celebrating a born day. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Let's see. Let's see. Let me go over here and check and see if I got the email. Where you at, 7 grams? Where the email? You don't even have to put anything. Just put, hi, Ms.Blue. Send me the email and we'll do it. But no worries. We're going to get ourselves situated and we're going to get in. How are you all feeling? Yes, we are going to have the brother Black Dot come on. And I'm excited for him to come on the show tonight and to talk about his work he has putting out into the world. It's going to be so paramount. So I'm just telling you all right now, if you know, for the men in your life and the women in your life, you have young boys and children in your life, this is perfect. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. So, this is what I'm talking about. All right. Thank you, sis. Thank you. I got you. All right. So, yeah, so we're just going to work out some of these technical difficulties. All right. All right, Brother Lance, thank you for being in the building. Let's give it up for our moderators in the building. Also want to shout out all the soul family in the building as well. And shout out to all the soul family, all of our new listeners who are in the building, all of the soul family in the building. Happy solstice to you. I hope you are doing well and being well with yourself today. Shouts out to all of our international listeners in the building as well. So y'all just see me put my email in there and y'all using it for whatever y'all want to use it for. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. But welcome on in. Welcome on in. Let's see. All right. All right. I love the volunteers. I love the volunteers. But I need some feedback to let me know to see if you could get in. If you can get in, let me know so I can figure out what's going on here. Yeah, you yeah, but you sent me some information. I'm trying to get the show together. You know? Let me know where's the brother 7 grams. You won't be able to untangle this, I promise. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, we ain't got time for that tonight. We ain't got time for that. We ain't got time for that. We'll be able to get this. Let's see. Yeah. All right. All right. Mhm. So how's it going? Let me know what part of the world you're tuning in from. What part of the world you're tuning in? What state, what country, what place you're tuning in from? As we getting ready to tap in. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. We gonna hear some more music. Let's hear that song one more time. I'm waiting to see if let's see. Uh let's see. Welcome on in. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see. Mm, 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 mm. Welcome on in. Georgia is in the building. Good to see you. Goddess Rainwater. Where you at? Where y'all at? Those people who say they coming on, where y'all at? What y'all doing? What's good? What's Gucci? What's happening? Hmm? Let's try something else. Let's see here. Okay. Daytona Beach in the building. Uh let's see. Okay. All right. Let's see. Florida is in the building. Good to see you, Florida. Connecticut in the building. All right, here we go. Try this. Let's see. So it looks like that is not working here. And we're going to try something else here. I reached out for tech support. So we are going to see something here. Illinois, London. You're backstage. It keeps saying everyone is backstage, but Don't know what backstage you guys are at, because I don't see anybody backstage. It doesn't show me anyone who is popping up backstage, and uh, the backstage. Let's try this. Hold on. If it says you're backstage, stay right there for me. Here we go. Okay. Give me 1 second, everyone. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Let's see. Mhm. All right. So we're going to give it a few moments. It says that you guys are here. It I'm not seeing you here. And so this is my concern, because it's not showing. I just did. Check your email, refresh your email for me. I just sent it to you, 7 grands. But try to see what's really going on. I don't know if this is going to work. But we gonna see. We gonna see. We are going to see in just a moment. All right, here goes Brother Black Dot. And we in the building. Okay, we are in the building. So we're going to get started in just a moment. Thank you to everyone for your patience. We're going to kick this off. We're going to take this back to the top of the hour, and we're going to kind of kick this off. Uh, we're going to kick this off again. We're going to kick this off again. So let's start again. There goes Brother Black Dot. We're going to get ready to get started in just a moment. So, um, welcome to everyone on in. And by the way, can I say this? Thank you to everyone for just being willing to jump on camera with your girl. And y'all just did that in real time, the sisters and the brothers. So thank you all for being willing to do that. Goddess Rainwater, thank you, because, sis, you've been on this journey for a very long time. Thank you to the other sister who reached out, the other two sisters who reached out, everyone who reached out, and everyone who was just holding space, and to the moderators. So we're going to get ready to get started, because tonight, listen, it's been a while. I told you guys I was going to get back into, really doing some interviews. And when I seen Brother Black Dot come back on the radar, um and I seen the work, because he is someone, of course, if you don't know who he is, you will get to know him on a very, very um, deep level tonight. And this is a show that is something that I think we all will walk away with so much richness, so much we can learn, and we can understand about ourselves, our struggles, and our journey. And so I'm going to leave that right there, because we're going to be diving in here, and I am so excited. It is on the solstice, and how perfect it is for us to have the Brother Black Dot to come and shed some light, because we do understand that the sun itself is birthed out of the black dot. You understand? And so this is where many of us are on the planet. We are all becoming the sun, after coming through these shadows of darkness that we have all been going through in the world at this time. So, without further ado, I want to say welcome to everyone. Welcome on in. I am Ms.Blue, the Soulful Oracle. We're going to listen to some music again. I know y'all love this song, and it is so perfect. My goodness, so perfect for what we're going to be talking about tonight. So we're going to have a good time. And yeah, so we're going to listen to this introduction, and then I'll be right back.
must be a Superman. 'Cause every time I see you, I can feel the rain. You must be a hero. You must be that kind of man who can make me realize my dreams deep inside. And every time I see you, I can feel the pain. They can say not good enough, I'm not that one for you. We belong together. They can tell you anything to push you away from me. My heart belongs to you. You must be a hero. You must have been sent by the gods. And every time I'm with you, love and fantasy, I want to share with you till the end of my life. They can say not good enough, I'm not that one for you. We belong together. They can tell you anything to push you away from me. My heart belongs to you. You must be a hero. You must be a Superman. 'Cause every time I see you, I can feel the pain.
Oh, yeah. So, without further ado, we are going to be welcoming our hero joining us here live. Peace and greetings, Brother Black Dot.
Peace, peace. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Certainly can. Nice
All
and
right.
loud and clear. How are you?
I am great. We had a little, little hiccups here and there, but we're here. And
Yes.
I've been anticipating being here.
Well, it is such an honor to have you here. Listen, I really want to jump right in, but I know that we got a lot of stuff to talk about, and we're going to get to all of that. But I wanna start with something, because every time I think about that introduction and about your new project. But before we get into that, let's just get real. Was there ever a moment through this journey, because you've been on this journey for a long time, was there ever a moment on this journey when you thought, if I don't tell my story, I'll die performing someone else's pain?
Yes. Yes, the driving motivation
Mhm.
for completing this story is so that it helps me first to heal,
Yes.
by being honest and transparent. When people think about heroes or superheroes, they think one-sided, but
Mhm.
the human side of being that hero is what you are facing. And so I didn't want no one to tell my story better than I
Mm.
could tell my story. And it
Wow.
started 20 years ago with Hip Hop Decoded. See, I
Yeah.
wrote Hip Hop Decoded from its ancient origins to its modern day matrix after I found out I was diagnosed with kidney failure. And they
Mm.
said, look, man, you got about 2-3 years if you're going to deal with this
Wow.
dialysis thing. So I did not want to leave here after all that I had learned, after sitting at the foot of so many masters, without leaving an offering that may
Yeah.
help someone else along their way. And I
Yeah.
had to write it in the language that the youth could understand, which was the language of hip hop. And
Yes.
so sitting at the foot of Bobby and Phil and C. Freeman L and all the masters, I said,
Right.
okay, my duty here is to be the Tahuti of this and
Yes.
translate this into hip hop. Now, that was 20 years ago. In that
Mm.
20 years, I started living one of the most amazing journeys that you could
Mm.
ever imagine, simply because I didn't start living until I thought that I was dying. Very, very
Yes.
interesting.
Yes. And I was going to get to that because the title of your book, which you guys, we're going to go into that and let you all know how you can definitely be a part of it, because this is a book that you're going to want to have in your archives. You're going to want to read and get your hands on it. And we have something special planned for some listeners here tonight. So we'll get into that a little later. But the title of your book, it hits so hard. And just reading it, for those who don't know, it's called I Didn't Start Living Until I Thought I Was Dying. This
Yes,
is what I wanted.
that's the
Mhm.
subtitle.
Yeah.
It's the main title is "Gotta
Okay.
Laugh to Keep from Crying,"
The
right?
crying. There you go. Okay.
But
Yes.
that's the exoteric front line of it. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
the esoteric true hard feelings is I didn't start living until I thought I
Mm,
was dying. So
that's
yes.
right. And you got to laugh. We're going to get to that laugh part because we got to talk about the brothers and we got to talk about the pain because that is so needed right now. But can you take us to the scene, to that moment? And I know you said when you were diagnosed with kidney disease, but when death sort of kissed you a little bit on the shoulder and you finally turned your life around, because was there moments prior to that, leading up to that? You know how we always say, if I could look back,
Mhm.
hindsight, like tell us a little bit about, and by the way, what would you like to be called?
Oh, you can call me either Duane Bowser or the Black Dot. That's fine.
Yes.
I'll give some explanation with that. Shortly on
Yeah.
why I returned back to Duane Bowser because the pain and trauma was triggered
Mm,
by Duane Bowser. Duane Bowser endured the pain and the trauma and the suffering.
mm,
The Black Dot became a shield of armor to
yes.
guard against that trauma, where I can still perform as a superhero, even though in my darkest moments, my kryptonite wasn't being dealt with. And so, as a part of the healing process, if I said I'm going to write this book, I have to
Yes.
write it not from the Black Dot, because it'll be an amazing
Mhm.
story of how much I've triumphed and it'll be like, come on, dog, come on. So I wanted to write it from a place that spoke of vulnerability, that spoke
Mm,
of when the trauma. I lost my kidneys at 5 years old. And I'll
mm,
explain when we get into that
yeah.
how disease starts in the mind. There
Yes.
are traumatic events that trigger that. It may not trickle down and manifest into a physical expression
Right.
until years later. And so I think that leads back into your question of,
Yes.
when was I beginning to see and notice these
Mhm.
type of things?
So that happened when you were young. And I know you go in depth in this in the book, and that's a big part of the unfoldment of the story. But take us to those moments of what it was like growing up, New York during that time in your life. What was it like? What was your day to day life like?
Yes, yes. Again, I had to grow up very early and very fast, due to my mother's addiction. Now,
Mm,
I was born in 1968, and
mhm.
so I just missed the heroin sweep
Yes.
that came through those inner cities. We all know the
Mhm.
CIA's operation
Yes.
allegedly and all this,
Alleged.
but
Yeah.
1970 for New
Mhm.
York was when the shift took place. And young
Mm.
people like my mother, who was only 18, trying to get into the hippest things going
Yeah.
on, started, sniffing a little bit. And heroin is so addictive, especially for melanated people. And
Yes.
so, as a result of this, she went on a world spin. My father was sitting in a penitentiary for murder. So that's a whole nother story. It's
Wow.
in the book, though. My
Wow.
father didn't do drugs. My father was a five
Wow.
percenter. My father was a Black Panther. My father would have
Mm.
protected my mother in those instances, but when the king is gone and there's no one to protect that fortress, other individuals come in and it led to heroin. So I was forced at 3 and 4 years old to kind of grow up, and I would sit in front of the pool hall, and because everyone was afraid of my father, even though he wasn't around, no one would mess with me. But all of the
Wow.
older guys in the pool hall would look after me. They would feed me, but I was an observant child. I don't know if it
Mhm.
was the Virgo energy. And so I would sit there and I'd be watching. I could tell who was doing what kind of drugs, who was sleeping with who what you know, daddy-o. I picked up on the lingo and all of that stuff very
Yes.
fast. And so it put me in a position to grow up fast. And so my
Mm.
mother would take me with her on, boosting, what we call stealing,
Yes.
and we would run this play where if she got caught, if I started screaming at the top of my lungs, the security guards would be so frightened that they would let us go. And so we
Wow.
ran that to perfection. And so while other children were out maybe playing and learning their ABCs, I was dealing with life in its truest form. And when it came to food, it was usually spiced ham sandwiches and a pack of cookies
Mm.
all day, every day, Kool-Aid. And so that leads to the physical aspect of not taking care of yourself. So it's a real deep story that needed to
Yes.
be told
Yeah.
in layers.
Yes. Yes. And, you know, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, and even though I didn't live my whole life in Brooklyn, I went back to visit family, went to school there, things of this nature. So I understand that, and with family members who also got caught up in that whole saga, what was going through the city at that time. And many people don't really kind of, well, I shouldn't say that. I think people do put it together when there was a rise in hip hop, which was such a fascinating time in the world. There was also a big drug rise as
Yes,
well. And so
yes,
while we had a generation that was moving forward, there was a whole underworld that was pulling and stealing away a lot of our light and a lot of
yes,
our soldiers that was there. In some regards, you can say you had sort of that whole Black Panther movement sort of being wiped out while they were moving another generation to rise up at the same time. They both were happening, at the same time. So, yeah, very, very powerful time. So it was a lot of survival going on in your life. And so you lived in what we would call fight or flight. That's that
yes,
root chakra. You
yes,
lived in that mode 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And oh my goodness, from a child, from a baby, you could say, you
hmm
were in fight or flight. What did survival cost you? And I'm not talking about
mm.
money. I'm not talking money, but like in memory, like in emotions and your soul expression. What did survival cost you?
That is an amazing question. And it's one I've never really reflected on because I
Mm,
know it cost me my two sisters,
wow.
being by my side and being the big brother I needed to be to protect them in their
Wow.
journey, right?
Mhm,
Um, Overall, I had, even through all of that, I kind of had, when I got around a certain amount of friends, about 8 or 9 years old, I've had the same friends to this day from 8 or 9. We was
mhm.
moving around, but when I got about 9 years old, I've had the same friends. And so they provided such solace for me in terms of, because some of them were going through similar things. And
Yes.
so we could relate. And during that time, the community was just different.
Yes.
We borrowed from each other, we bartered from each other. All
Mhm.
of the parents looked after all of the
All the
children
children.
at the
Yes.
same time. There was a respect even for the drunk. If you were a
Yes.
child, there was a hierarchy that was never breached. And
Mhm.
so we kind of grew up in these systems that just kind of collectively as a village looked out for each other. And
Mhm.
so up until 9 years old, we were just moving around and it was very fight or flight. And I don't have grand memories except for me and my mother sitting,
Mhm.
in a room together, and me watching her make love to these needles that were the most important thing to her, and
Yes.
that we battled and vied for each other's,
Mm-hmm.
me and Dope, because I called Dope my stepdad in the book, and we
Mm.
would be jealous of each other, vying for my mother's attention. But there was a sense of spirituality within me from the time I was a kid. I tell the stories of who my grandmother was and
Yes.
some of the spiritual things that I saw,
Yes.
which kind of put a little halo over me. And I haven't been
Mhm.
in trouble one day in my life through all
Mm,
of this. I've
wow.
never been to jail. I've never been arrested. I've never
Yes.
been shot. All
Yes.
of the drugs that I experimented with was before the age of 18. When I turned 18, I stepped my game up and became a man. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Or began that process. And so the friendships that I forged brought some solace into my life. And then, of
Mm.
course, I came into hip hop at that same age. So it gave me an external outlet to express some of the things.
Yes.
And when we deal with hip hop, the reason we take on these other names like MC Cool's
Yes.
KG or Super Galactic Battle so and so is because it gave us an alter ego. We didn't want to deal
Mm.
with who we were
Yeah.
and what we were. So we created alternate realities. We were using
Mm.
alchemy without even realize we was using it. And
Yes.
so I became these other personas. And for that small period of time, gave us a chance to escape the hardships of the reality that we were actually living in.
Wow. Powerful. And you said something key, and that's kind of my other question I have here for you, especially when it comes to our Black boys. I have a son, and I see the difference because I have a son and a daughter of raising them and just in our world, in our society. Do you think Black boys are taught to be, and you'll understand this question, are they taught to be spiritual or sacrificial?
Wow. I'm going to say probably a little bit of both, in the sense that
Mhm.
some of the mothers, out of fear of protecting their children because they know what they will endure when they come out into this world, have taught them to become victims, like use victim consciousness and
Yes,
temper down who you are. Don't be so great. Don't let that light shine too bright,
yes.
because there are people who are drawn to that light and
Mhm.
understand who you are. And then, sometimes we do get an opportunity to be spiritual, but unless you are introduced to that early in life, it
Right.
may take a hero's journey. It may take your entire life before
Yes.
you able to open up into your spiritual purpose here, because that's what you're really here for. And
Right.
so I was brought into mind early, and
Yeah.
then I suppressed it, and
Mhm.
then I was able to bring it back out at a time that I needed.
Metaphysically looking at that, how did you make peace with that aspect that you were told to kill? That part of you. How did you make peace with that? Because that seems to be the struggle with a lot of our young men, our Black boys, our melanin boys, those from the diaspora. And now we see that with boys from all backgrounds. How did you make peace with that part
Um,
to kill
that's what
off?
that's what the hero's journey is really all about. In understanding sometimes the way society is structured,
Yeah.
and we understand this innately. We don't
Yes.
have to be told it; we know it. And
Yes.
so, in order to navigate through this maze that they call life,
Yes.
as superficial and illusionary as it is,
Mhm.
we understand we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and this is an avatar. This is
Mhm.
not who I am. I still must be able to navigate through this and maintain a sense of sanity in an
Yes.
insane world. It's
Oh,
very crazy. And so that tugs at the spirituality, and it
yes.
tugs at us to what we can suppress and what we can release. However,
Mm.
I was fortunate enough to be introduced or brought into a Marvel universe, an alternate universe of
Yes.
individuals, doctors who was teaching me about melanin that I had never
Mm.
heard about, occultists who was teaching me about the supernatural,
Yes.
metaphysicians who was telling me this starts in the mind,
Yes.
Moors who was teaching me about who. So I was brought into an alternate universe that
Mhm.
is like the Marvel universe.
It
You know,
is.
Doctor Strange
That's
and all of
right.
these
You got
things.
all the characters.
I had all the characters. And so in being brought up in that, it made sense of the madness to me. The
Mhm.
challenge is to get young people out of survival mode or what they think is survival mode and let them know that none of what you think is real, and
Right.
that your pursuit has to be on a higher vibration. But we're in a weird time where
Mm.
some of these things are coming to pass where conversations we couldn't have 30 years ago,
This is
we can
true.
have. And
Yes.
so here we are at a beautiful time.
Yes. Wow. Powerfully said. Next question. I got some questions for you because
Keep them coming.
I know you got the answers and everyone is loving this. You guys, we are joined with the brother Black Dot and we are a true master teacher himself as well. So truly an honor. This is a question I thought long and hard about this one, brother Black Dot. I did because it has a lot to do with our brothers, the men's in our lives, our fathers. You know, what's the silent war? Because it's kind of silence that most of our men are fighting, that not even the wives, the mothers, the baby mamas, their daughters, their sisters, that we don't even know about.
I'm going to say it's our rightful place
Mm.
in our world. You know, to be a man is to be a protector, a teacher, a creator,
Mhm.
all of these things. But the way this current vibration of the matrix is set up, we have lost that ability even in our own homes. And so if I can't
Mm.
be king in my own home, now granted, I have to qualify and disqualify myself by my
Right,
actions, of course.
right,
But
right.
even in that, when that is being not recognized, because men want respect. We can
Yes.
get bullied, we can get we can get all, we want respect in a world that does not want to respect a melanated person with knowledge of himself and
Mhm.
knowledge why he's here and you know its true purpose. And so
Wow.
and I often speak about what grandma and grandpa went through. They went through a lot, but they kept the family structure in place.
Yes.
And you can say what you want because I've never looked down on homemaking and things of that
Right.
nature because it's a superpower, right?
Yes.
When dad has to go out into a world that's going to attack him at
Yes.
all angles and deal with the world, to know that in his home, he is welcome with the big piece of chicken or whatever, a hot
Yeah.
bath, and
Yes.
there is an understanding, and is an
Mhm.
understanding that his queen is going to conduct those things that she's going to conduct. And at least as a superhero, see, a lot of times I explain it as well. A lot of children only get to see the Clark Kent of their
Mm.
fathers or mothers because when we come to the door, we hang the cape up, we hang the armor up because it's the one space and place where we just want to be us.
Yes.
Because the minute we cross that threshold, there is so much going on. Now, there's a physical threshold, and of course,
Mhm.
there is the metaphysical threshold of continuing to learn who we
Yes.
are. I have
Yes.
to bring that information to the queen who is going to make it into something amazing. And
Yes.
that's the, you know, the yin and yang
Yeah.
of, of who we are
Wow.
collectively and we've lost. And so
Mm.
men are putting on these false, you know, facades that they're strong, they got this, they can't cry. And we've turned especially in this society with all the social media stuff, we've
Yeah.
literally turned against the only people who can help us,
Whoo.
which is our women.
Powerful. Wow. Whoo. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. That was great. That was great. That was great. Now, I want to go a little deeper into something you said in the beginning, and I just kind of hear this echoing in the background. I'm going to constantly be the oracle here, so I'm doing my
Yes,
due diligence to really
yes.
get these questions out. Do you think that pain becomes personality, or does pain become performance?
Pain can become personality if you continue to endure it. And, when you manifest that pain in the way you perceive life.
Mm,
You get these people who are always angry and always,
yes,
that's a pain that has become a part of their personality.
yes.
They're always in attack mode. They're
Mhm,
always on defense. They won't allow a penetration of
mhm.
that veil to show you who they really are. And it can also become, what was the second part?
The second part, performance.
You can perform your pain. I do it all the time. During like a
Mm,
podcast, you see a lot of these comedians,
yes,
Robin Williams, Richard
yes.
Pryor, the list goes
Ooh,
on.
yes, yes.
They're performing this pain in a way so that they can release it, but also help you absorb. They want to absorb some of your energy so that they
Mm,
can laugh and enjoy themselves. But it is a performance. And then when the,
yes,
the curtains go down, you realize how dark their life is because they didn't deal with the
with
issues
the
that they needed to deal with, their
right,
trauma.
right.
Yeah,
And that's the second part. So how do you tell the difference when you've never met yourself outside of your trauma? How do you
that's
know the difference?
and that's where the term knowledge of self or know thyself
Comes in.
really applies. And like I said, I was born in the Marvel universe. And so everything became a reflection of self to some degree. But there are
Mm,
so many other young men and women who don't have that opportunity. And so
yes,
they're in fight or flight or
yes.
defense mode their whole life. And when your spiritual arteries become hardened,
Mm,
nigger mortis kicks
yes.
in, not rigor mortis, nigger mortis, right? When these, your spiritual vibration and those spiritual arteries that help you flow, they gain so much plaque from,
Yes.
the external life. And then the spiritual energy that needs to flow to all of the right places doesn't.
Doesn't.
You're
That's
just like a
right.
walking crash out. And
Mm,
so we see it. We see it everywhere. I can recognize it. I can see pain. I can see
yes,
trauma,
yes.
especially in children.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so this book that I put out is a part of my healing process.
Yes.
So that I can look it in the face every day
Mhm.
and deal with it so that I can become even greater
Yeah.
than I have become so far.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you said laughter was survival. So tell us, Brother Black Dot, what is your darkest joke you ever told yourself to keep from breaking? What's the
Oh,
darkest one?
that I can't even think of one because on my podcast, my wife, because I did the father and son podcast, we did over
Beautiful.
500 episodes,
Yeah.
and I would toe the line. My son would have a line, and my
Mhm.
wife would have a line. Look, Dad, you can't go past this line. But my childhood of the jokes that I really want to tell, I just
Mhm.
couldn't tell. But I grew up around friends, and we all did that. When
Yeah.
you don't have the latest outfits, and you're pissy, and
Mhm.
you're underfed, you have to find other ways to keep these kids off you. And so mine was humor. And so I'd
Mhm.
always be the class clown, but I was very intelligent. I was always in the top five
Yeah.
when it came to passing the test and all of that. And so a lot of other kids, teachers, parents will come to school and say, well, my son is sitting next to this kid, and the teacher go, whoa, whoa, but he's passing. He's sitting in the back of the class with your son laughing, but this little nigga passing. Your son has got to get his together. And so anything, being a child, an inner child, has helped me escape trauma in a way that's given me chance to release and deal with it in a way, because because I know it ain't real. I know
Right.
none of it's real. And
Right.
so I can make a joke about things. And again, if you're going to date me, my wife figured this out. You have to be 12 years old, at least 12, and because
Yeah.
we're gonna people watch. We're gonna talk
Yeah.
about people,
People.
and
Yes.
we're gonna do it. And if you too buttoned up, I'm
What'd you
not
say?
the
You
one.
can't last. You can't last.
You're not gonna last.
You can't last. But is there one that you just one of those dark jokes that you just was like, it
Well,
helped you stay sane?
I told my son, I said, we had this after 10 p.m. rule, right?
Yes.
He said, Dad, what's that mean? I said, after 10 p.m., we could make love to any girl, no matter how ugly she was. You know what I mean? Because what happens is you have your phone book, right? And in
Right.
the phone book at the beginning, I got all the stars, 2
Yeah.
stars near her name. She's a
Yeah.
cutie guy. But after 10, we flipped the book over. And then the back of the book was the girls we would never be seen in the daylight with, ever. We call these crunchies, these little monsters. However, you go to her house late at night, and you can get what you
Wow.
want. And so, but that's a true story.
Right.
We look around at night and be like, well, come on over here, girl. And if you saw them in the daytime and they spoke to you, you looked at them like, huh, you better get the hell away from me. And so my son found, he laughed so hard because he couldn't understand the process. But that's just something we
Yeah.
did, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. I love it. I love it. Has masculinity ever felt like a prison sentence for you? If so, who was the warden?
For me, no, because I grew up around a bunch of women. My family
Mm.
was dominated by women. And I would
Wow.
sit there, even my cousins, you know how you have a bunch of cousins you grow up with?
Yes.
Those cousins were all females. I was the
Wow.
first boy born. And
Wow.
so I would sit there and listen to these stories of these women, how they felt about men, what they liked about men, what they
Mhm.
didn't like about men, what they would tolerate in men, all of those things. And so I was getting a front row seat on how to allow some of my feminine energy to,
Right.
to manifest. So I didn't grow up ultra, masculine, where, one time my son was riding his bike and he fell, and I could tell it hurt, and I
Yeah.
could tell he wanted to cry. And I looked at him and I said, you can cry. And he just bust out crying because he was already in this mode. I can't cry because I don't
Right.
want my dad to think I'm weak.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that shit hurt, bro.
Yeah.
Cry.
Right.
You know what I mean? We can be men and still
Yeah.
cry. And
Mhm.
so I've never been the ultra masculine type. Now, when it's time for me to be masculine, I'm right on
Ab
point. I know how
Right.
to be a man. I know how to, protect the
Mhm.
family, all of those things. But the feminine side is also there. I know how to apologize. I know
Yes.
how to give my woman grace. I know
Yes.
how to allow all of these things. And I had to learn those things, right?
Mm.
Men have to be learned how to love a woman. I don't care
Yes.
what nobody say, unless you already saw it in your household.
Yes.
If
If
you
you grew
if
up
you
with
with your mother and father, like my 2 youngest children are 25 and 23, they don't know any other time but having their mother and father since they've been born. So for
Wow.
them, it's a little different. They can
Yeah.
see, my daughter can see how I treat her mother. My
Yes.
son can see how I treat his mother. And so
Mhm.
it's an innate thing. But if you didn't grow up around that, somebody has to teach that to you.
That's
And it
true.
requires a couple of relationships before you get it close to being right.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm. Wow. Powerful, powerful. So with all of that responsibility, And you talked about your sisters earlier and just feeling like you had to protect them and not having your father there. And then the situation with your mother, feeling like even as a child, like you needed to protect her. Tell us the truth. Did you ever just at some point ever want to disappear? Not die, but just not be required anymore. Like,
Yeah, I mean, you've had those moments when, especially as a kid, and you're watching, again, kids, we have no filter. So we know all your
yeah,
business.
yeah.
And while your mother's out here acting crazy, we all know. And so there were times where you go like, ugh. And I tell people I did well in school so my mother wouldn't have to come to school. Most kids do
Mm,
well in school so their mother can show up and be
yes.
proud of them.
Yeah.
No, I did well so my mother wouldn't have to
Wow.
come, so my friends wouldn't see, the state that she was in. And so
Mm,
those are the moments when you want to disappear.
yeah.
When, there's a parents teachers conference and you know your mother's going to come in here, she's going to be nodding, and the teachers know your condition. And sometimes you want to shrink in those moments. And
Mm,
then, there are other moments when my mother's not high
right.
and she's funny and she's brilliant because she had the highest IQ in my family. She read more
Wow.
books than anybody in my family. She was worldly.
Yes.
And so there were those moments when I was proud, and I
Right.
knew, what cloth she was cut from.
Yes.
And so, but as I got older, I really just appreciated life. I never blamed my mother or my father for my condition. I'm glad
Mm,
they
yes.
made love to each other at 15 years old, or I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And the
It's
reality
a
that I'm
blessing.
in would not be here. So I was never one of those kids dealt with victim consciousness. For me,
Yeah.
other kids,
Yeah.
oh well, if my father was here, I could have did this. And,
Yeah.
and I get it. I get it. I
Hmm.
was never that kid. I gave
Powerful.
grace. And so,
Powerful.
you know,
I love that. I love that. Now you said you didn't start living until you knew you were dying. But
until I thought
let's
I was dying.
yeah, until you thought you were done. But let's flip that. Who died so you so the real you could live? Who died so the real
What died, who died was the false pretense that I was not going to make it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
The
Mhm.
fear, how about that? Fear died.
Yes.
You man, you got 2 years, 3 years tops. If you don't get this transplant, man, it's gonna be tough. So
Yeah.
when the fear died,
Yes.
the living became abundant. And when I say I didn't start living until I thought I was dying, what happened was prior to me being diagnosed, the diagnosing is the last stage of
Yes.
finding out. We understand this disease starts in the mind.
Mine.
So,
Yes.
watching my mother traumatize herself with needles and all of these things, had a subconscious hatred for the very thing that I was drawing to me at the same
Yeah.
time and had no understanding. The kidneys
Mhm.
deals with fear,
Yes.
right? Of abandonment. So when she almost overdosed at 5 years old and I thought she was going to die, it was the most traumatic event for a 5 years old to have to endure. So I had fear. We didn't live under the best conditions. So we didn't
Mm.
take out the garbage as often as we should. That's what your kidneys are there for, to
Mhm.
filter out all the waste. So the waste physically stayed in my house. It
Yes.
physically stayed on my mind until
Yes.
it manifested in my body. Let's just say that.
Right. Right.
So,
And the kidneys itself, I just want to add this in there, is connected to your kid needs, the needs of a child.
ooh,
And so
ooh,
whenever I'm working with clients and they have issues with their kidneys, we have to go back and really heal these kid needs. And if you think about it, the kid needs, that's how I always have remembered it. My guides have
hmm
shown me that the kidneys are connected to the kid needs.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And my needs were not being met as a kid,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so, leading up to this diagnosis, I was driving a bus. I was making great money doing so,
Yes.
working for the city. I was
Yes.
taking care of two households at the time. And
Yes.
men, we don't go to the doctor. They kept saying, Every checkup, you get a checkup every year, every 6 months.
Yes.
Your blood pressure is through the roof, young man. Young man, your blood
Yes.
pressure, I didn't have time to deal with that as a Black man. I had 2 households that I had to financially secure. I'm on this bus. I'm sitting on my wallet for 17 years. I'm bouncing up and down. I'm holding my urine because I can't go to the bathroom in the middle of the route.
Yes.
So
Wow.
all of those are all the physical attributes that
Mhm.
accelerated the process. I missed a lot of family events. I'm Virgo. I like being by myself. But a strange thing happened when I thought I was dying. I started saying yes to everything. If you've seen Jim Carrey's Yes Man, the movie,
Oh,
I
yeah.
started doing that, but not to that extreme. You know,
Right.
Jim Carrey, he's an overactor, right?
Yes.
But I started saying, yes, I will go to that recital. Yes, I will go to that picnic. Yes, I will come to that family function. Yes, I will apologize. Yes, I will tell my kids I'm sorry. Yes, I will tell my wife I love her. And I started saying yes and
Yeah.
yes because I thought my time was very short. And in doing so, it opened up a whole nother vibrational pathway.
Oh,
I
yes.
moved off the vibration of fear and
Yes.
moved on a whole different vibrational frequency. And 1 year turned into 5 years, turned into 10 years, turned into 20 years. And in that 20 years, put
Wow.
out 3 recording albums. I put
Wow.
out 4 books. I
Yeah.
found both of my sisters. I put 3
Wow.
kids through college. I
Wow.
purchased a home. I
Yes.
married the woman I love. I
Yes.
started a $1 million company. All
Yes.
of these things after thinking I was going to die. And so a
Wow.
lot of times you go into these doctor's office and they
Yes.
go, you got 6 months to live.
To live.
And what happens? In that 6 months, you trying to cram it all in because now the hourglass, or what is perceived as the hourglass, is diminishing. I could literally smell grass after a while. I could feel the goddamn wind because I was on a whole different vibration.
Vibration. Yes.
And then I slowed everything down.
Yes.
And life became the most amazing thing you could imagine. Had this not happened, I would just be retiring from transit. I'd have to do 35
Wow.
years. Who knows all the things I would have missed? I would have had a pension. The only thing to show for it would have been a damn pension. And so life has a weird way of putting you back on your course.
Yes.
I was here to teach and inspire in my way of doing so. And the ancestors will, conspire using the universe to align you back to whatever your purpose is. And here I am.
Absolutely. Wow. Powerful. Powerful. That is so powerful. Tell us now, I want to take this time so you can talk about your book and your project and what you have put out and take us a little deeper into that.
This book right here, You Gotta Laugh to Keep from Crying, is part 3 of a 3-part story, and I'll explain. Hip Hop Decoded, from its ancient origins to its modern day matrix. My first book, which is still available on Amazon and places like that. Hip hop was my first love. It was my first escape from the hardships that I was dealing with. Not rap music, that came later. I'm talking about pure hip hop, just the love of creating a genre of music with some brothers and sisters that you don't know, but you had a common bond. My second book came 10 years later, which was Urban Culture Decoded. And that was dealing with the environment that birthed hip hop. And see, when we talk about alchemy, and there has to be an environment that helps birth this. And so the liquor store, the church, and the barbershop are all a part of who we are. So the liquor store, the barbershop we go to on Friday, the liquor store we go to on Saturday, Sunday we go to the church to try to redeem ourselves. So wearing sneakers, I took everything in our so-called culture and I showed parents, teachers, and educators why it is important that who you are seeing are these chosen individuals who are creating stuff based on the environment that they're setting, right? So hip hop is probably the first genre of music that came about in a concrete jungle. Most of the music, stemmed from the South and had a Southern feel to it. We were placed in dire situations in an inner city, and we created a movement that changed the world. This third book is my personal journey through hip hop and the environment and the hero's journey that I had to navigate through to become who I am. And so, hip hop, urban life coach is what I try to position myself as, and that's this journey, what it has taken me on.
Powerful, powerful, so powerful. Wow. Now, I want to let everyone know how to purchase the book and where to go to purchase the book. And so, mhm,
ShopUrbanX.com right now, because these are advanced copies. These are
mm,
hard copies. They're autographed by me. They are advanced copies. I'm only selling them on my site until the supplies last, and that's ShopUrbanX.com.
and we're going to put that up.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I do have these available. I also have a limited case available, and it comes in this beautiful case where
Wow.
I can send a personal message to you that can inspire you as well,
Mhm.
because this is art. And
Yes.
so while supplies last at shopurbanx.com, the book will officially come out on my birthday, August 27th.
Oh, wow.
And that's when it will be released on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and everywhere else. And that will more than likely be a soft cover
Mhm, and
book.
not the hardcover.
Now, the
So,
hardcover is here, so that's it.
mhm. So definitely, so family, you guys want to support, you want to get that. One of the moderators, if you can please put the link in the room for everyone. I'll make sure to have everything in the show notes for those of you who are interested to definitely listen, get your hands on that. Maybe this is a good time. I don't want to keep you too long, but let me know how
No,
you
I'm here
feel.
for you. I'm here for you.
Okay, well, good, because I got more questions.
Let's go. Keep them coming.
This is so great. I am loving and learning. Huh. Mhm. So here's my other question. Is there a version of you, Black Dot, that the world has never seen? And if so, can you describe him in 3 words?
Wow. The 3 words will definitely be introvert.
Mm.
Uh, I'm gonna say uh, talented
Yes.
and spiritual.
Yes.
Right now, before I started this podcast with my son, I've been in the conscious community a very long
Yes.
time,
Very long
but
time.
I
Yes.
love to appear and disappear as needed. My
Mm.
son convinced me to do this podcast twice a week, which was called the Urban X Podcast, the
Mhm.
number one father and son podcast. And
Yes.
in those 500 shows, it it put me on Front Street. And
Mm.
so
Mhm.
people got to see my personality more.
Yes.
People got to see what kind of father I really was.
Yes.
Because you can't front in front of the people can see. And
Mhm.
so I will say people have learned a lot more about me during this podcast because it put me on Front Street. It was something I would never do any other time. I loved being mysterious, so to speak.
Yeah. Me too.
I love that.
Absolutely love it. So speaking of sons, and I'm sure you've already had this conversation with your son, but what what do you want your son, or let's just say someone's son, because there's a lot of fatherless sons in the world, to hear from this conversation that actually could change his trajectory forever?
Wow. Well, I have 3 sons, and I raised each one different based on the time because they're 7 years apart. And
Oh,
so
beautiful.
how
Mhm.
you raise them has to also be in sync with the environment they grow up in. My first son, he didn't have no phone. They didn't have no cell phones. there was no beepers. Next thing you know,
Right.
my second son, they got beepers and cell phone. My third son, they're on social media. And so the time, and you can't be rigid as a parent because
So
it
true.
is their journey. It is not yours, right?
Mhm.
So you're here to
Mhm.
guide. And
Mm.
so young people, I would tell them, stay the course. Everything that is happening, it is happening to you for a reason.
Yeah.
Everyone around you is a reflection of yourself in some capacity. Don't think narrow. Do not let these narratives by
Yes.
social media, AI be placed in your head to control your avatar. And now
Yeah.
they're doing the thinking for you. The one thing I've always taught my children, question everything, even
Yes.
question me,
Yourself. Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because questions are going to lead to opening more questions and answers that you need.
Mhm.
And so I'd
Mhm.
always ask them, well, why do you think that was? Well,
Yeah.
what do you think this was? Because I want open-ended conversation,
Yes.
and I parent accordingly. When they reach a certain age, I let their hand go. I'm still spiritually in tune. I know
Yes.
when my son is calling me for money. I know when he's calling to want to
Because
talk.
something happened.
I
Yeah.
know
Mhm.
I just know these things.
Yeah.
And so you are here for a purpose. Your
Yes.
purpose ain't here to work no damn job the rest of your life. And they
Mm-mm.
give you a watch and all that craziness. You are here. The earlier you find out why you're here,
Mhm.
the greater the experience will be. And it's
Power.
not going to be easy. It's not supposed to be easy.
Mm-mm.
Nothing worth having is easy. Let's
Mhm.
go. Let's pick. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get
Yeah.
to this. And
Yeah.
so
Powerful.
that's what I tell my sons all the time. My favorite thing for my one of my sons, and he'll tell you, Dad, please stop saying that. You've been saying that for 25 years. It's figure it out.
Yes. That's my word for my kids.
Figure it out.
Figure it out. Mhm.
Figure it out. And
Mhm.
now I'm watching my son. He has two children, and you know what he's doing? He's figuring it out. He's
Yeah.
figuring the damn thing
Powerful.
out. And
Yeah.
that's how we
Mm.
teach.
That's it. That's it. That's powerful. Let's talk legacy since we're talking about the children. What is the spell you want your story to cast on the next generation?
Um, that they can, first of all, they can dismiss what they don't like in one generation.
Mm.
It doesn't have to trauma and pain and
Doesn't
suffering and victim consciousness does not have to become a part of who you are if you recognize it. And so I didn't have my father in my life. That's cool.
Mhm.
My mother was
Mhm.
doing this. That's cool.
That's cool.
I knew when I was in position, I was
Mhm.
going to eliminate all of that. And the one thing
Mm.
I told my children, I'm not gonna make it easy for you as a dad. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do my damn job. And not just
Mm.
physically, mentally, spiritually, emotion, metaphysically. We're gonna
Yes.
go down channels so that you can, when you see your children, you know what
Yes.
I mean? You don't have to start from a place of trauma. I don't expect any of my children to be like me because I am the sum of my experiences. You
Yes.
didn't have to experience that. You little niggas went to private schools, and you know you had it better.
Right.
Now
Right.
that's a gift and a curse
At the
because you
same
still
time.
want them to go through some things,
That's
and
right.
that's where the term "figure it out" comes from.
Mhm.
However, you couldn't possibly be Black Dot because I'm the sum of experiences you could never endure. And
Yeah.
so be you, work
Yes.
from your end, but look at the things because I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect dad. I'm a present dad, right?
Mm.
And so
Mhm.
take the things you love about me and you keep them. Take the
Yeah.
things you don't like about me and enhance them so that your children don't have to deal with that. And they can be birthed in an environment even greater than you were. And
Yes.
that's how we change the codes of the DNA so that the
Mhm.
next generation and legacy has way more to do with me
Ooh.
leaving you $5 million
Right.
or
Right.
man, some shit
Yes. No.
5 years, 3 generations from now, them damn great grandkids probably don't even want no damn money. You mean
No.
all my great granddad left me with some damn money?
Money?
Damn him. And so legacy has a lot more to do with
Mhm.
history,
Yes.
teaching,
Yes.
connecting dots and doing
Mhm.
all of those things so that they can come into their own with a sense of pride, knowing who they are. Sure,
Yeah.
if you leave a few dollars here and there, that's fine too. I'd
Right.
rather leave 15 books that I wrote and
Yes.
1,000 DVDs and a legend that says, bro, do you know who your great grandfather was? That's
Amazing.
legacy. More
Yes.
so than some money and you
Money.
were not connected to me at all because I
Mhm.
started some damn oil company or some Bitcoin company that you had no connection to.
That's right. That's right. Powerful and so well said, as well. When you were writing the book, and I know for me, I'm in that process of writing my book. Is it someone that you were secretly writing to? I know we've talked about the overall theme, but did you have someone in mind that you said, outside of your children, of course, and your family, was there someone you were secretly writing to?
Well, I openly were writing to my two sisters. I dedicated
Mm,
to them since I can only fill in the blanks for them since they were taken by child services and so much other things.
mm,
Secretly, I was writing to myself. You
mm.
know what I mean? A part
Yes,
of me that wanted to validate my existence. I
yes.
was writing to my mother who has long transitioned to
Ashe.
say,
Yes.
Moms, even through all of that, I'm going to venerate you in these words
Mm.
because through all that you went through, I know it wasn't
Yes.
who you are, it was what you were experiencing.
Experiencing.
I was
Ooh.
writing to my ex wife, you know,
Wow.
who I could have been a better man for. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Just being
Wow.
honest. We
Yes.
got together at 18, and by the time I was 28, we both were different people. So I was
Yes.
secretly saying, yeah, I screwed up there. Yeah, you were
Yeah.
right. You were a little bit more advanced than I was. And so, yeah, a couple of things like that I put in there to
Yeah.
try to, because when you write a book, you
Mm.
get an uninterrupted opportunity to speak your piece, no
Yes.
matter what you're writing on. So
That's
when I
true.
was writing about hip hop, even if you disagree with me, I wasn't there. You got the book, you're going to argue with the book. So all you could do is continue to read my points. And
Mhm.
then after you digest it all, go, you know what? I see where the brother was coming from, or this and that. And
Yeah.
so writing this story, I said, you're going to get the whole story. When you thought I was doing that, guess what I was really doing? I was doing
Mm.
that. And,
Yes.
all honest and
Yes.
transparency. And so I did that so that we can all kind of get some closure. And of course, I was writing it to my children who
Yes.
see one side of dad. My son said, Dad, reading this book, you have 4 lifetimes before I was even born. You know what I mean? Like all the things that you had been through. And
Yes.
so I needed to fill in some blanks for him. And so
Mm.
that some of his characteristics of who he is, he can understand.
He
And
can
so I was
understand.
writing, and I was secretly writing to my current wife, who is amazing, to let her
Wow.
know I see you. I
Yes.
saw those things you did to make me look greater than I ever was. I saw
Wow.
you pay my child support when I couldn't, even though you and
Wow.
my baby moms might have been on the odds, but you made me look like a goddamn king. I see
Yes.
you, girl. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And
Yes.
so I was writing to all of those people. That's an amazing
Powerful.
question.
Yeah. That was listen, that answer.
Thank you.
you know, um, powerful. Powerful. Wow. My goodness. Now, I want to talk about this because this is a big part of your testimony of being here and what sort of anchored you into this book. What is one unspoken truth about healing that no one tells you until it's too late?
Wow, that is a great question. Unspoken truth about what for me,
Mhm.
it's transparency.
Mm.
And in transparency, meaning to let people know you're in pain. even as
Mm.
a grown ass man, right?
Yes.
And so we don't have enough transparency among men to say, yo,
Wow.
I'm feeling, bro, I'm hurting right now. And
Yeah.
and so transparency, because transparency opens doors.
Yes, it does.
Transparency says, look at me. For instance, perfect example. I'm in
Mhm.
the conscious community, the Hotep University of whatever, and some people look down upon you having a disease. How can you have a disease
That's
when you
crazy.
in the conscious community and you supposed to have the green juice to help you get through that, my brother? And based on the Hotep handbook, I get all of that.
Yeah.
This was deeper than that. My
Yes.
trauma superseded
Seeded any
any
of that.
conscious community stuff. And for a while, for a couple of years, it was tough for me to just come out and say, yo, Phil Valentine, I need help, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yo,
Yeah.
Delbert, man,
Ashe.
I need help, man. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Yo, Dr.
Mhm.
Africa, man, I'm gonna need some help. Yo, Sadie, bro. And
Yeah.
so, because my ego was involved and all of those other things, and when
Mm.
transparency kicked in and I was vulnerable and came to these master teachers, all of
Yes.
them had the same story. Doc, this happened somewhere in your childhood, in your mind. And
Yeah.
so while I can give you a few herbs that
That's
may,
right.
help, it's not going to cure this. You have to be the alchemist that you are
Yes.
and go inside and heal self. And
Yeah.
so, first of all, Delbert Black cursed me out for taking so long to call him. And, and so many things. And they said, you did this. And so
Mhm.
I had a litany of people line up to give me a kidney, when they
Mhm.
first found out. And
Yeah.
I turned them all down, including my sons. First of all, I don't want
Wow.
nobody else's organ inside my body. That's just me. Because the elders
Right.
taught me the organ has a vibration to it.
Yes, it
And I'll
does.
start taking on your damn dreams and memories
Yes.
and shit, and it'll be crazy. I'll start wanting to do shit I ain't never did before. However, even more importantly, I did this. So
Yes.
if I'm going to work my way out of it, I have to work my way out of it. And
Yes.
when I became transparent in front of the whole conscious community and say, yeah, I have
Mhm.
a problem, it
Mhm.
lifted such a burden off my shoulder because it also said that I'm not perfect.
That's
Yes,
right.
I'm still intelligent. Yes, I'm
Yes.
still spiritual and I
Yes.
still can help you, but does not mean I'm not facing my own situations and things that I'm dealing with,
Yeah.
you know?
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. That is one of the things that I teach and really am an advocate for because, like you said, everything starts in the mind. And it takes that transparency because, if you can't own something, then the
Yes,
power goes to something outside of you, which you have no control over. But
yes.
if you can own that, even if you don't know why, because in some cases, your case, you put it together. But
Mhm.
even if you don't know why do I have this dis-ease in my body? Why am I dealing with this illness? And personally, one of the things that I have found, I would say, and maybe you've seen this in the last 10 years, I have seen more people who are living right, quote unquote, are being right, quote unquote. We want to go by healers. We want to say energy is real. And so
Mhm.
when we have these disruptions that happen within our body and within our cells, who better to really challenge this experience than someone who knows?
Yes.
Then someone
Absolutely.
who knows. Then someone who knows. You understand? I became totally fascinated by my own challenges and was able to heal and evolve through them and to be able to share that teachings with other people to let them know this has nothing to do with what they are telling you. It has to
Yes.
do with you didn't do anything
Right.
wrong.
Right.
You didn't
Right.
do anything wrong. That's the first thing I tell people. Listen, you didn't do anything wrong. Understand if there was a wrongness there, then you're holding something that doesn't belong to you, that you need to transmute, that you need to evolve yourself from. And once
Yes.
you get that, then Yes, you can go traditional medicine, it will heal you. You can go holistic, it can heal you. But if you can't maintain your own avatar frequency, nothing will heal you. I don't care
Nothing,
how
nothing.
powerful it is.
That's
You can
right.
drink all the juice, you can do all the workouts, you can meditate 24 hours a day. But if you are not in a state of a higher vibration within yourself, it is not going to. It is
That's a
not
fact.
going to work,
That's
you
a
know?
fact. And so dealing with self, a lot of people who have, kidney issues, they call me and I consult from time to time, but
Yes.
I'm only dealing with self. You got to look in the mirror and
Yes.
understand there are a series of events
Mhm.
that led to this, right?
Yes.
This didn't just happen. And this is
Overnight.
overnight.
Mhm.
That's why I started from when I know it mentally
Yes.
took into it began to manifest in my everyday life with
That's
not
right.
taking out the garbage, living in unfiltered situations,
Situations.
to the bus bouncing up and down, holding the urine, to
Yes.
a physical expression. But you got to climb the ladder, and
Yes.
climbing the ladder brings you closer and closer to
Mm.
the source of what
Yeah.
your issues are, and
Yeah.
that is the process and how you can deal with that.
Yeah, that's powerful. That is so powerful. And so many people need to hear that because you're right. It is sort of stigmatized that if you are somewhat have any kind of consciousness, that
But
that
that
just means you don't get challenges. And that's not what it has nothing to do. The two go together, but they don't go together. It doesn't work like that. And then we have certain challenges we put before ourselves so we can rise to that occasion, you know? Yeah.
and then we become to realize I am so much more than this avatar.
Yes.
I keep this damn avatar on the ground. It is an amazing avatar.
Sorry.
Shit, I
Yeah.
done put this damn avatar through, but it is not me. And
Right.
so, therefore, I exist in multi dimensions on a much higher existence.
Yes.
And I manifest that. So when they said you got 3-4 years to live, beyond the fear, once I got past the
It's the
fear,
fear.
I
That's
was like,
it.
yo, I'm immortal.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so I live my life like an immortal that
Yeah.
eventually the avatar would just say, and that's when it's time. All right, Dot. All
Anyway,
right,
that's right.
goddamn.
That's
You
right.
got 100 million miles on this damn thing.
It's time to
It's time to,
yeah.
cash it in and get you another avatar if you decide, or
Yes.
whatever.
Whatever. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty thing. It's to get out of the fear. And I think so much about our culture, even if I can be honest, that I have seen in the conscious community, it's rooted in fear. And I always say, it's never a good idea to do anything out of fear. Never. It's never a good idea to
That
do
is correct.
anything out of fear. So powerful. And
Yes.
so finally, because I know we've been here for a minute and I am so grateful. Everyone is loving the show. We're going to talk about this. Um, you are on the mic. No, no, no. I'm not going to give you that question. Not yet. That's the
Okay.
closing question. We're going to
Okay.
wait for that. We're going to wait for that one. But I want to ask you this. What has been one of your most mind blowing self-generated experiences that you after completing it your mind was literally blown that you did it?
Ooh. For me,
Mhm.
this is gonna sound weird,
Mhm. No.
but having a child, and
Wow.
see, I
Yeah.
say that because
Wow.
I didn't think it was possible because of all the drugs
Wow.
and the life I was living.
Wow.
And so one of the greatest creations for me was the replication of self
Wow.
and the experience and seeing that all the way through. I was in the, emergency
Yeah.
room, and
Yeah.
I passed out. I wrote that in the book too. I
Oh, wow. I
literally,
can't wait to
no,
get the
no,
book.
listen. I had an idea, but I
Mhm.
had no idea
Wow.
the majesty and the majesticness of women.
Mm.
Until that moment, right? I said, I will never disrespect another woman a day. And I said, this is what my moms had to do to get me here.
Yeah.
I was totally flabbergasted, blown away, enlightened on so many levels. And to see myself and hold myself again was the greatest thing I ever did spiritually. Now, writing a book or putting out my first recorded album, the bliss of having a DJ Red Alert in New York City, probably the most famous DJ in New York, play my record for the first time in 1988, the summer of 88, on the radio. I don't think I've ever been that happy in my life.
Wow.
I was calling everybody. The phones were jammed up because back then, you know, it was call waiting and this and that. And I didn't want to become, I didn't care about becoming a rap star as they do now. And I just wanted to hear my record on the radio. To me, that signified a kid from the hood had made it. And I just wanted the respect of my peers. And that moment brought more bliss for me than anything else during that time. So yeah, hearing that song on the radio.
Wow. I love it. I love it. Everyone, give it up for Brother Black Dot. Yes. I want to tell you something, and it has been a while. I have been on the air, and of course, you know, Brother Bobby Hemmett, Brother Panic, and Dr. Phil Valentine, and Dr. Delbert Blair, Queen Afua, and all of them when I first came into the conscious community. And that's what I loved so much was the interview, you know, because I, you know, got a chance to see inside, you know, into me. I see the interview, you know, to go inward with people. And I learned so much from doing the interviews. And it was through that process that I awakened my own consciousness to learn about myself. And so through that journey, I went through that journey, and then most of it became about what I wanted to put out into the world and express that. And so I say all of that to say, to come full circle, that you were always one of those people that everybody said, you need to get Brother Black Dot on your show. And it just didn't line up at that time. And so here we are, fast forward in this, in this journey. And I have sort of archived the remix. It's still there, but I've archived the remix, and it has evolved as I have evolved into my new show, which is all about frequency, right? And one of the things I kind of went back and forth with was my love for being able to have these conversations and interviews with people. And you are the first to crack this back open. So I am truly, truly grateful and honored, you know, to you.
I am too.
To Brother Shabazz for connecting us, the Goddess Rainwater for hooking me back up with Brother Shabazz, Brother Rich, and just everybody who has been a part of this. I didn't know it was going to happen on this night on the solstice, but I am eternally grateful.
Come on now. Come on.
Yes,
you know what that's about.
Yes, absolutely. In alignment. And I'm just kind of speechless that it really just transpired in this way. And I'm so grateful for you. And yeah, so you're my first interview that I have done in I don't even know how long.
I love it. Well, the Black Dot, you know, I'm that point of reference,
Yeah.
you know, that opens portals to what's next.
Yeah.
And so it is in spiritual alignment on the solstice that we open up this portal again on a different frequency.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so I am honored. Anytime you need me, just give me a little buzz. Hey, Doc, what you doing?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm always accessible. Always. There's never a moment that I'm not accessible to the people who show me love and
Yes.
respect,
Powerful. Same here. Same here. That being said, we got a surprise for you guys. We're going to be doing a giveaway. And so Black Dot is going to have 3 books to give away. And we're going to decide on how we're going to do that giveaway. I don't know if you kind of thought about that a little bit, but you know, it
What?
could be in a comment, it could be, something.
Well, however, you know what I mean? We're going to give away 3 books.
Yes.
I could do a trivia question, but I don't really want to get into that aspect. I tell you what, let's just randomly pick 3 people.
Okay. I'm going
And
to.
those 3 people
Mhm.
will receive it in the mail ASAP.
Okay. All right. There you go. You guys heard it. So 3 people, and King Simon is in the building. Want to
And
show him so much love.
he's disqualified.
He's disqualified. Well, King
He
Simon
got his book.
He got it. Yeah, you got yours, King Simon. You got to step to the side. So we're gonna choose 3 people, and I'm gonna either. Can you see? Are you able to see the chat?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you want to take? Maybe we can take some questions, and we can. You want to do that?
Yes. Let's do a Q&A.
So
Yes.
let's do a Q&A, and you all can have a Q&A, a question for Brother Black Dot. And we're going to go from there. We're going to take your questions. And when your question gets picked, then who knows? You will be one of those that will get a signed copy, because I need you guys to get this book. And I'm definitely will be getting mines, and definitely putting the word out and support. I'm a big advocate that we need to support and show up for more of what we want to see in the world.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
the only way we're going to kind of shift the tides here a little bit. All right. Someone in the chat said, I just brought 3 books. All right. That's what I'm talking
Whoa.
about. That's what I'm talking about.
Bless you.
That's
Bless you.
what I'm talking about. Yes. 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 All
Yes.
right. All right. So you can, if you see a question, we have one here. Do you want me to get that one?
What is Black Dot's favorite ballad?
Hmm.
My favorite ballad is Neither One of Us Wants to Be the First to Say Goodbye by Gladys Knight and the Pips, because my father wrote that song to my mother. That is a fact. My father
Wow.
wrote that song to my mother. He sold it for $50, but back then that was not an uncommon thing.
Yes.
And then he heard the song on the radio, and my family went bananas. So Neither One of Us Wants to Be the First to Say Goodbye. Now, my favorite artist is Al Green, because that was my dad's favorite artist. He loved Al Green more than anything in this world.
Wow.
And so Al Green is my favorite artist. Neither One of Us by Gladys Knight and the Pips.
All right. All right. Well, there you go, Queen of 10,000 Moons. Please make sure I'm going to have you email Brother Black Dot. You want to give me your email address?
Yes. urbanx.nyc.
Let me put it there.
At Gmail. urbanx.nyc@gmail. Let me answer Tremel's question.
Okay.
What was your biggest challenge raising your boys in a new marriage?
Ooh.
Okay, you're going to get a book for that, Tremel? No, because it's in there step by step. It's going to help you along the way.
Oh, beautiful.
You have to have a common ground with the ex. And so we all wanted the same things. Me and Malcolm's mother, you know what I'm saying, who have been together since we was kids or teenagers, we wanted to take care of our children. So there's going to be a period where, there's a little, drama and all of this. But the more and more you guys get over the breakup and have space to grow and meet other people, the more it becomes about business. Yes. I ensured every time my children, because I got 2 older sons from a previous relationship, came to my home, I never sent them home with negative energy. We never talked
Powerful.
about their mother. I
Yes.
waited until they left, and I talk about their mother like a dog. But while they was there, I
Nice.
made it my business to make sure that they come and they were received with a high
Yes.
vibration, and they left in a high vibration. That was important to me because the children are almost confused. My sons was 10 and 3. You know, when the breakup happened, obviously my 10-year-old knew more. You know, my
Yes.
3-year-old was kind of like, whatever, you know.
Mhm.
And so based on the ages that they are, there are, you know, ways that you deal with helping them deal with mommy and daddy never being together. But like I said, I wasn't a perfect dad. I was
Yes.
a present dad, right?
Powerful.
And being present means even during the breakup, even during the bad times, I'm knocking on the door. I'm here to get the kids. Even when I had to pick them up from school because me and you weren't on good terms,
Yeah.
we find a way to get it done.
Powerful.
And so, Tramel, send me your email
Yes.
or send it to urbanex.nyc and find, how do I know it's going to be you? Because it'll be
Yeah,
people doing
Tramel. Yeah, Tramel.
goofy stuff, telling me I'm Tramel, you know.
I think Tramel has his name and his email address, but I may be wrong. Tramel, yeah, and do this. Copy, yeah. We're not going to put you through too many tasks, but
Right.
definitely we want you to make sure, Tramel, that you send an email with this question here, as well, and also maybe put your YouTube uh, uh, connected to it, your YouTube account, because that way it's going to show that this is you, and
Yes,
we can reference it back. Yeah,
that's great. That's great.
we can reference it back. And there is Brother Black Dot's email address. And also for those of you who want to get the book or maybe want to get some other special things or any of the other books there. Yes. So we got time for one more question. I know you guys have been asking questions. I don't know if you need to go back and see if we can get them. Let's see.
Dot, are you coming to the Stone Mountain hike? No. First of all, my condition, I can't walk up the mountain, but I heard there's something that takes you up the mountain.
Yeah, they have a trolley to go.
I did not know that. However, due to other events, because remember, I'm rolling out. I'm doing. I'm gonna be at Long Island University this Sunday
with Brother Shabazz.
with Brother Shabazz. We're doing a writer's block. It's 4 or 5 writers are gonna come together. Adika Butler, a brother named Azir, Tafiro Azar.
Yes.
King Simon will be in the building. And there's an elder that will be in the building as well. His name is a tongue twister for me. And so we will be there from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Long Island University, across from Juniors in downtown Brooklyn on Sunday. So make sure you come out to that. If you are in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area and you want to get a book signed copy in person, I'll be in the building.
Powerful. Is that our 3 or?
No, I only picked one person. Did you pick 2 other people?
No, I didn't. I thought we had. Oh, I thought you picked Queen 10 Moons, 10.
Okay.
10, and then Tramel, or is it just Tramel?
I think 10 Moons, is that the one who purchased 3 copies? I'm not sure.
No, 3. Queen 10 Moons asked the first question.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
So let's give Queen 10 Moons a book.
Okay.
Let's give Tramel.
Okay.
And let's give. Okay, this is a good one. By Mama is the source. Can 2 individuals be on 2 different paths while in a marriage and still work? Yes, first of all, we all exist in multiple dimensions at the same time. What connects you two is a bond that is what it is. But your personal journey, you know, and you have to allow space and grace for your partner to grow. See, we get into this mindset, you got to be doing what I do. And on,
Yes.
I may be further advanced than you are, and you may be taking a different path, but we're going to end up in the same space if it's time for us, if it's meant for us to be there. And so we get caught a lot of times, in my humble opinion, in,
Mhm.
like, for instance, I was a vegan when I met my wife. She wasn't, but she tried to be a vegan so hard. She was trying to be somebody she thought I wanted. And then the neighbor
Mm.
came downstairs one day and said, "Hey, Tanya, the fish is ready upstairs." And Tanya looked shocked, like, "Oh, I don't eat fish." And I said, "Yes, you do. The neighbor just blew you up." And so we had a real deep conversation. And I said, "Queen, listen, I want you to be who you are. I
Yes.
love you for who you are. If you decide to get on that path, the path is
Right.
already laid for you. If
Yes.
you decide not, I love you just the
It's the
same."
same.
And
Yeah.
so we have to allow grace for our partners to walk their walk while we are a part of it and
That's
experience
right.
it.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
Powerful. Powerful.
So I guess
Powerful.
Mama Sauce can get the third book. Yes.
All right. Well, there you go. Congratulations. Mama is the source, Tremel, and queen of 10,000 moons.
Yes.
To each and every single one of you. And again, for you guys, I know King Simon is in the building, but if you guys want to find out about the event this weekend where Brother Black Dot is going to be speaking, as well as King Simon and Brother Shabazz is going to be hosting, as well. If you're in anywhere in the tri-state area, or you can hop on over. So you can be in Philly, you can be in Maryland, in DC. These are the kind of things. Sometimes we travel across state to go to the concerts and go see,
Yes.
our favorite celebrities. This is an opportunity to go see some master teachers and to see a real art form. You talk about an
Yes.
artist. This is a real art form. We look at this because really this is where the new world, if I can say, Hollywood is moving towards. We are
Yes.
moving towards spirituality. This is the new wood on the planet, but in a higher elevated way. You will hear everyone now start talking about, they know their zodiac signs. We know that's just the entry point. That's the
Right.
gateway.
Right.
That's the gateway. And then eventually their consciousness starts waking up. They start realizing their dreams are real. They start realizing they are more than just their physical body. So any of
Yes.
us who have been doing this work, we are way ahead. But here's something that I want to tell you guys. There has been an underlying current to keep us silent. I don't care how loud you think we
Mm-hmm.
are, to be silent. And many times, what we see is we see people who have, the spotlight of the world hijack information from the real master teachers and for those of us that are doing the work. Well, the only way that that can exist in the world now with social media and all the technology is if we don't support the things that we really say we are about. And that's
Yes.
the importance of showing up in person. That's the importance of showing up online. That's the importance of passing things on and sharing with like minded individuals, because it will take all of us. It doesn't need to take the whole world. We just need a fraction. We are the ones moving the needle of consciousness on this planet at that time. You better believe it. We are the
Yes.
ones moving it forward. We're carrying all the weight. We moving it forward. And the only
Yep.
way we can do this is to show up and support those who are giving us the real food on this planet at this time. Yeah. Hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I am I am overjoyed that I got a chance, and it's almost 2 hours to have you here, and I want to give you an opportunity to close us out, Brother Black Dot, and you have the mic, and I'm going to give you the full mic, and for you, the people are listening, and I want you to share with us one thing that your soul came to share right now, alive, uncensored, as you always are, and
Yes.
just share that with us. Yeah.
I would like first to say, if we've ever had a physical encounter, I hope it was a pleasant one. I hope you walked away from it feeling like, you knew me better than, through any TV screen. I hope if you've ever needed help and you called me, I was there to provide that help for you. I am truly humbled and thankful for these platforms that give me an outlet and, an opportunity to share my story. It is a faceted story, and I'm here to share it with you. This hero's journey that we are all on, right? Spoiler alert, in the end, the hero always wins. So whatever it is that you're going through, no worries, you are going to win. I handed out these special boxes to individuals in my life because I wanted to let them know that they were not non-player characters in this hero's journey. They were important co-stars in my journey in life. So when you see people in your life, even if you are in disagreement, they are co-stars to teach you something. You know what I mean? It ain't always supposed to be rosy and positive. What kind of world or experience would that be? So with that being said, I'm always leading with my heart, no matter what it costs me. I love you. I have a principle: live, learn, laugh, and love. And those are the 4 principles that me and my family attempt to live by. And I hope that you can adopt that and it makes your life as pleasant as it's made mine. Peace.
Peace. Oh my goodness. How powerful. I am so grateful. I am so grateful. I am so grateful. We
Thank you.
will be in touch, Brother Black Dot. You are welcome to come here anytime, as well. And we gonna close out rightfully so. We gonna play the hero song for the hero.
Yes, yes.
For the hero. And peace and love to you and your family. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful, you guys.
You must be a hero. You must be a Superman. 'Cause every time I see you, I can feel the rain. You must be a hero. You must be that kind of man who can make me realize my dreams deep inside. Every time I see you, I can feel the pain. They can say not good enough, I'm not that one for you. We belong together. They can tell you anything to push you away from me. My heart belongs to you. You must be a hero. Your measurements and by the gods. And every time I'm with you, love and fantasy. I want to share with you till the end of my life. They can say not good enough, I'm not that one for you. We belong together. They can tell you anything to push you away from me. My heart belongs to you. You must be a hero. You must be a Superman. 'Cause every time I see you, I can feel the pain.